Okay, so Apple might have just dropped the biggest change to software creation in a generation. With this new version of Xcode 26.3, they're not just pushing out an update, they are completely changing what it means to write code. So let's break down what's really happening. Just think about this for a second. What if instead of spending weeks or even months writing line after line of code, you could simply describe the app you want to build? You just lay out the features, the design, the whole vibe, and the machine handles the rest. I know, it sounds like something straight out of sci-fi, but this is the core idea behind Apple's new vision. All right, so let's zoom out and look at the big picture here. Apple isn't just releasing another piece of software. They are kicking off a whole new era for code. This is a fundamental ground-up shift in how we build applications. And look, Apple is not being shy about this. In their announcement, they called this, and I'm quoting, the most profound leap since the integrated development environment. Now, to put that into perspective for you, the IDE is the foundational tool, the workshop where basically all modern software is made. So they're saying this is the biggest thing to happen in decades. They see this as a legitimate turning point in history. But, to really get why this is such a game changer, we first need to take a quick look at how things are done now, the old way of building things, and the headaches developers deal with every single day. You see, a huge chunk of a developer's day isn't about grand, creative problem solving. Nope, it's spent wrestling with picky syntax, setting up the same repetitive boiler code for the 100th time, and oh, the real killer, hunting down one single misplaced comma that's breaking the entire app. That kind of stuff isn't just tedious, it's a total drain on creative energy. And this right here really lays out the shift perfectly. Today, the focus is deep in the weeds, syntax, manual debugging, all those repetitive tasks. The future Apple is building allows developers to lift their heads up and focus on the important stuff, the overall system architecture, truly creative problem solving, and making the user's experience absolutely perfect. The point here isn't to replace developers, not at all. It's to elevate their work. So, the big question is, how do we make that leap? Well, the answer is this concept Apple's calling agentic coding. And what that really means is that every developer is about to get an incredibly powerful AI copilot. Okay, so what in the world is agentic coding? Think of it like a partnership, right? The developer acts as the architect, the one with the vision. They provide the high-level goals in just plain English. Then the AI agent acts as the master builder, handling all the tedious low-level stuff like writing the actual code, running tests, and setting up the whole project structure. All right, let's walk through what this actually looks like. It all starts with you, the developer, just describing a feature. You might say something like, create a login screen with email and password fields and add a forgot password button. Instantly, the agent scaffolds all the code for that. But, and this is crucial, it also writes and runs tests to make sure everything works like it's supposed to. Then, finally, you review its work and give feedback. It's this back and forth, this collaborative loop. Honestly, this is the perfect analogy. It's not an autopilot just flying the plane for you. It's a co-pilot. Just imagine having the most competent junior developer you've ever met, one that never gets tired, handles all the grunt work flawlessly, and frees you up to focus on the really complex architectural decisions. That's the idea. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, but what does it actually mean for the day-to-day lives of the people who build the software we all use? Let's talk about the impact on developers themselves. The benefits here are just staggering. Seriously, can you imagine prototyping a new app idea in hours instead of weeks? Imagine focusing only on solving the real problems for your users, not on fighting with punctuation errors. This could slash the time it takes to get a new product out into the world. And maybe the biggest deal of all, it could open the doors to a whole new wave of creators, people with brilliant ideas who are always held back because learning to code was just too steep a mountain to climb. So, let's zoom all the way out for a second and just think about the truly profound implications here. We are walking into an era where the speed of innovation is no longer limited by how fast a human can type, but by how fast a human can think. And if you want a number to latch onto, get this. Some of the early estimates suggest this could cut down the time it takes to get an app from an idea to launch day by up to 80%. 80%. That's not a small improvement. That is a complete revolution in the pace of innovation. And all of this, it brings us to one last really important question. When an AI can handle writing the code, what does it truly mean to be a developer? The role is clearly changing. It's shifting away from being a craftsman of code and toward being a visionary architect of systems. It's a future that's incredibly exciting, and it demands a whole new way of thinking.